Today, I'm going to be making a tier list, but it's going to be a special type of tier list. So, the thing is, most tier lists will evaluate characters from strong down to weak. You know, maybe something like S tier down to C tier, something like that. But how do you rank characters if every single character is completely overpowered? I think I've found the answer, and the game I'm talking about today is this one right here, Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact. I have regrettably been playing this game a lot off stream. 1,114 player matches, which usually that would be a point of pride, but honestly, that's depressing to look at. So I think I'm qualified to talk about this game. Now, before you say, oh, I don't really know anything about this game, so this video probably isn't going to be for me, don't worry. I'm going to assume that most of the people watching this video have not played this game. Probably because some YouTuber went and told everyone not to buy it. Whoever that guy is, I don't know. Oh, by the way, some people have asked me, have the various patches they've deployed for this game improved the netcode at all? And the answer is not really. Just as an update, the netcode is still bad. It's gone from really bad to just bad. And I still don't recommend the game. That being said though, today I'm going to explain how broken every single character in Nen Impact is, and hopefully in a way that makes sense even if you haven't played this game. Also, please remember to subscribe. Thanks. This game has, in my opinion, 3 distinct tiers. Completely broken, pretty damn broken, and just regular broken. I'm gonna start with the completely brokens because they're the easiest to talk about, and they're also the characters that you'll see in tournaments the most. First character that is completely broken, and in fact I think is the single most broken character in the game, top 1 fight me, is Uvogin. Uvogin's gimmick is armor on everything, all the time. This game, one of the most broken things you can have in Nen Impact is armored moves, and almost every single move this character has is armored. So just on pure system mechanics, that's like already an issue. But the problem is these specific moves he has. And let's start with what I think is one of the most broken things this character has. This normal right here. This is Uvogin's 3H. It is a tackle that goes 2/3 of the screen. And this thing has armor. So if you pressed anything other than a low, it's upper body armor, but that covers almost everything. If he throws this thing out, you get hit. Now, you're probably thinking, if you're a traditional fighting game player, how do I counter a move like this, right? Let me ask chat, what's the best answer to an opponent throwing out a move like this, do you guys think? Neutral jump, moving out of the way. You would be correct if this game followed any kind of sensible rules, but as well as this move being an armored full screen normal, at any point during this normal, you can cancel it into specials on whiff. You don't even need to make contact with your opponent, so I can do that. You see how I just yeet from full screen? And then I can just change my mind and go into a different move. And by the way, this move right here, this launching kick, I should mention, is also armored. So this is an armored move, whiff cancelled into an armored launcher. And the armored launcher has a follow-up, which is this move right here, which also comes out on whiff. So we've got armored normal, whiff cancelled into armored jump, whiff cancelled into armored dive. Like this. All of this string is whiff cancelable. You never need to interact with your opponent. Every single part of this string is armored. All 3 moves are armored. And also this dive, I should point out, this armored dive is one of the most broken moves in the entire game. Because, unlike almost every dive kick in history, when he does this move, Uvogin summons a explosion hitbox in front of him, which hits from almost full screen. So you would think that the solution to a move like this is to avoid it. But if you try and avoid it, this happens. You get hit by the explosion when he hits the floor. Even if you miss this move half the time, he still gets this. And if any of this connects, by the way, if you get hit by the explosion, you're probably dead. This game has high damage output, and Uvogin has some of the highest. So, like, you do a combo like this. I mean, that's a dead character. With a better DHC. The Leorio DHC isn't the best example, but yeah, you can see anytime any of these moves hit, it's basically just a dead character. If you're asking what's the counterplay here, there's basically two things that should work but don't, right? So this dive, Uvogin's armored dive, is technically punishable on block. It depends on the spacing, but this is actually, I think, about like -10 or something on block. Theoretically, it's punishable, but in practice, it's not punishable because a mechanic in this game called quick gear exists. And I won't go into quick gear in too much detail, but quick gear is basically a Roman cancel. So if you block this whole sequence and you think it's finally my turn to play the game, quick gear cancel into a low. And there's another reason why this is overpowered, because Uvogin has this super right here. This is Uvogin's install. This is his down super. And this super gives him a damage buff for a few seconds. And this super is actually not that good in terms of the damage buff, because like I said, most characters in this game TOD you anyway. You don't need the damage buff. The reason this super is broken is because you can activate it while it's already active, and that means that you can infinitely loop this super to give yourself a free brain dead cancel like this. I want you guys to pay attention to how much chip damage this sequence is doing. So that did 50% of your health for blocking that whole sequence. And like I said, there's no real interrupt points anywhere there. If you try and use Nen stance, which is this game's defensive mechanic, you will just get armored and die. I'm trying to think of like other things about this character, because there's so many things about him that are broken. Oh, this move right here. This is Uvogin's back heavy. This is kind of a unique move. If you press back heavy with this character, he takes up a stance that's armored. So like he's just completely armored while he's holding this stance. And alone, this is not that good, because you can't actually attack while you're stuck in this stance. But this is a team game. And that means that Uvogin, at any point during this move, can call an assist. And this is extremely powerful, because all you have to do to destroy your opponent's offense is just hold this and then call an assist. And you basically have a free shield. Something like that. So that's also broken. His other level 1, he's got a different super, this thing. This super is a guard crush, which means that your opponent is put into an unblockable state afterwards. And there's a few supers that do this in this game. Gon's is another, and it just leads to unblockables. There are certain ways of dealing with this with Nen stance, but there are a lot of situations where you can just completely checkmate your opponent if they're low on health with this thing. So I think Uvo is top 1. Let's move on. Now we're moving on from a muscly armored character who destroys you with extremely powerful armored moves into a TOD to another character that does the exact same thing, the next most broken character in the game, Bisky. Now, the only reason that I think Bisky is worse than Uvo is because Bisky actually has to do something to become broken. That's the only difference here. So if you guys don't know, base Bisky is actually not very good. She's okay, she's not terrible, she has some of the lowest health in the game and her moves are very stubby. She doesn't have a lot of range, she doesn't hit particularly hard, she's not very good, but she's not the selling point here. Once you have 2 bars of super, you can do this, and she becomes adult Bisky for the rest of the match. There is no timer associated with this. Once you're big Bisky, you're big forever. And once you're big Bisky, you go from being a mediocre character with stubby moves and bad damage to probably equally as good as Uvogin. You've got all of these moves like this. These are all armored. You can chain them together. Her hitboxes become gigantic. Her damage output is the single highest of any character in the entire game while she's in this form, which is very easy to get. So as an example, just to give you guys an example of like how broken her damage output is, in this game, if you land a throw in the corner, you do get a combo off it. But the combo that you get off throws is supposed to be incredibly scaled, right? In theory, throw combos are supposed to do bad damage because you can see it goes straight to 4% damage. Like, it's giga scaled if you combo off throw, right? That's the idea. Now I'm going to show you what happens when Bisky lands a throw while she's in big stance, just to show you how absolutely deranged her damage output is. I'm not going to use any damage boosting effects. I'm not going to use overgear. I'm not going to use quick gear. I'm not even going to call a single assist, and I'm going to start this combo from 0 bars of super. So this is literally the least possible resources you could have of the most scaled combo starter in the entire game. And that's a dead Killua. So, yeah. That's probably not even optimal. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a more damaging route than that. But yeah, that's a TOD of a grab, which starts the combo as scaled as physically possible with 0 bars super starter, no assists. It's not just high damage and armored moves, though. Like I said, she has a lot of armored stuff that goes, like, pretty much full screen, like all of this shit. One of the most broken things about Bisky is her jump N, which is this normal right here. And if I use it like this, it doesn't look very impressive. She does a big slow punch and then gets stuck in the air for like 5 seconds. This looks like a pretty bad move, but this move has a special property, which is that you'll notice I'm doing this move from full screen. If I do her jump N reasonably close to my opponent, it changes and it homes in. Like that. The angle can change depending on how far you are from the opponent, but as long as you're within about half screen of your opponent, this will home in on them from any angle, including cross-ups. Like this. And the reason this is broken, other than the obvious stuff, it's also special cancelable, by the way. So you get full combos off it. But the reason this is especially broken is because this leads to the most deranged incoming mix-ups in the entire game. Almost same side. But if I micro adjust the timing on this and do the exact same setup, that was a cross-up. Keep in mind this is a team game, so a lot of the time when I do these incoming mix-ups, there's like 6 more layers to these incoming mix-ups where I can do like this. What side was that on? You don't know. I don't know. I think that was a cross-up, but I'm not sure. Oh, one last thing I want to mention is she has special rules. So Bisky, when she's in her adult form, can also chain her normals in non-standard ways, which means that she can reverse beat, for example. So most characters have to go like light, medium, heavy, but when you're Big Bisky, you can go heavy, medium, light. And that might not seem that good on the surface, but the reason this is broken is because she has this normal right here. This is 6H, this is an overhead. And she can mix this into her strings and out of her strings. So you can do this, for example, you can do low, high, mid, or you can do low, low, high, or you can do high, low, low. There's like a million different ways that you can... basically, every time you block a string against Bisky, you are put into 3 consecutive high-low mix-ups. The only downside that Bisky has, and the reason that I put her slightly below Uvogin, is that you have to get Big Bisky online. That's the only downside she has. She does not start the round in Big Bisky, and that does mean that if your opponent is good at this game, what they can do is they can snap her in. They can use a snapback to bring her in early before you're ready to set her up and then mix you up. That's basically the main way to counterplay this character, is just don't let her get online in the first place. If you manage to let her get online, you've probably lost the match. Who's the next most broken character? I think I have an answer for you. Now, this is going to be one of the few characters that's incompletely broken, who is not an armor-based character. Next most broken character in the game is Chrollo. Almost entirely because of one super. This one's easier to explain. They're already spamming fish in chat. I think they know. So unlike Uvogin and Bisky, Chrollo is broken almost entirely down to a single move. If you have 2 bars of super, which is very easy to get in this game, meter comes quick, and you press down plus super, he does this. And he summons 2 fish, and the fish will continue to attack your opponent for about 5 seconds. They basically attack twice in 3 kind of like reps. And during this time, you are completely free to do whatever you want. So I can set up the fish, and then I can like go in on my opponent, start attacking. I can go for like mix-ups, high-low, whatever. Now, autonomous supers that attack separate from the main character are already very good. Think, yeah, like JP level 2 in Street Fighter. The reason this is so unbelievably broken is because the fish do not under any circumstances go away. So if you think to yourself, okay, well the fish are going to attack me, so I should try and hit Chrollo to interrupt it, you can't. The fish will stay out, and not only will they stay out, they'll break the combo for you and give Chrollo a full combo in exchange. So any attempts to attack Chrollo will get you killed while this super is active. They're like right there. Killua is trying to attack me, but every single time the fish just break the combo, and I even get a free counter combo out of it, which could TOD you. This also does outrageous amounts of chip damage. So even if my opponent is a demon who has perfect defense, watch his health bar. And that's a dead character. You try and hit Chrollo, you die. You try and block the mix-up, you probably aren't going to block it, but even if you do, you die. Basically, there's almost no counterplay to this super. And here's the thing. This super is supposed to have one downside after all that. It's supposed to have one downside. I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but while this super is active, Chrollo cannot build super. So at the very least, you're probably thinking, well, if you manage to block the fish, you manage to survive the nightmare, he now has no bars of super. That's what the downside is supposed to be of this super. However, this restriction disappears completely if Chrollo is not on the screen. So what you can do is you can call your assist, activate the super, tag cancel, and now you have fish super, and I'm also gaining super the entire time with my point character. There are even some combinations of this where you can literally spend 2 bars to activate the fish, tag in your other character, that sequence builds back 2 bars of super, and you reactivate fish. It's just an endless looping nightmare. So Chrollo is the best anchor in the game. He's completely broken. But I am going to move on to the next character that's in this category in completely broken, and that is my main character, my point character, Morel. I've mentioned already that armor is broken in this game. Morel is yet another armor abuser. Alright, so Morel has a normal. He has the normal. This is Morel's 5H. This normal goes basically full screen. It has a hitbox surrounding pretty much the entire stage. So you see like he swings the pipe upwards. It doesn't just hit grounded, this is also an anti-air from full screen. It's insanely fast. And on top of all of those things, it's completely disjoint. And this normal, his 5H, has armor. So basically, if you see your opponent doing anything anywhere on the screen, you can just snipe it with 5H. They tried to make this normal not completely broken. There was an attempt, I think, by the devs to make this normal broken because this normal cannot be cancelled into specials. It is not special cancelable. You can't chain it into like anything else. Right? That's the idea, is that like, yes, it's a full screen armored normal, but you can't cancel it into anything except for supers, I guess. Right? That's what the downside is supposed to be, but for some reason, the devs of the tag game seem to forget that they're playing a tag game. And so if you have a good assist, and this is the exact team that I use, for example, Meruem's assist, like this is an armored full screen move that also becomes plus on block if you combine it with an assist like Meruem's, and this leads to a full combo anywhere on the screen into probably a touch of death. Bro, I can't hit my own B&Bs right now. There you go. The threat of 5H plus assist anywhere on the screen is incredibly oppressive. Your opponent will be scared to do basically anything. The only moves that really beat Morel 5H are like other armored moves. So I feel like the only character that really counters Morel spamming 5H all day every day is Uvogin spamming everything, because his armored moves are better and he has more of them. It's not just the 5H though. He has other things that are broken as well. Morel has the best Nen stance normals in the game, which look like this. So this is his 2N, this is his launcher. This is also gigantic. And he also has 5N, which is this normal, which goes nearly full screen. Both of these normals are absolutely outrageous defensively because you can use them to break out of strings that other characters can't. I won't go into too much detail about Nen stance because I could make a whole video about that shit. But trust me when I say he has some of the best defensive attacks in the game, like this. Also, Bunny Rabbit. It's not broken. I just want to mention the Bunny Rabbit. Look at it go. Cool move. Oh, also, I should mention, I haven't really talked too much about assists, but I'll just mention this one real quick because Morel has one of the best assists in the game. In fact, all of his assists are extremely good. You have 3 assists in this game. All of them are amazing. I think probably the best one, though, is his neutral assist, which is this one. So Morel comes in and he does the funny spin. This move is armored in the upper body. It will anti-air from basically every angle. It protects you from incoming hits. It's defensively amazing and offensively amazing. It's also one of the best assists in the game for incoming mix-ups. If you want the most brain-dead incoming mix-up in the game, literally just call Morel's neutral assist and then super jump. And then you've got like an unseeable 50-50. Like, something like this. Like that. That was the mix-up. I have no idea if that was a left-right. That's probably the best incoming mix-up in the game. But yeah, so most of the reason that Morel is broken is the 5H, but he also has some other very powerful stuff. Also, he's one of the... This is something I've never seen anyone else mention. Maybe this is just me, but I also think it's very good that his level 3 is the only level 3 in the entire game that has range. So most level 3s in this game, like Meruem's for example, have literally 0 range. This will only hit like point blank. Like that, okay? For some reason, Morel, and basically only Morel, has a level 3 that actually has some distance to it. And this is good for combo reasons, but this is also good because it means that he can combo off this. No other character in the game can do that. No other character in the game can do long range 5N into level 3. Again, you'll have to trust me that's broken because I don't want to go too deep into the mechanics of this game. Anyway, let's move on. Next broken character going in completely broken. I'm actually going to put Hisoka up here. Hisoka, if you play Marvel, Hisoka is basically the Magneto function. He has the best movement in the game. He can zip around the screen at high speed. And he doesn't hit that hard, but his combos build outrageous amounts of super. And he also has some of the most diabolical incoming mix-ups in the game. And he also has this move. This is probably the main move to talk about. His jump arts is a dive, which covers some absolutely deranged angles. And if you get hit by this, you're basically dead. Also, this thing can cross up for basically no reason. That crossed up, and now you're dead, you know? So basically the Hisoka game plan is just to infinitely snap in and do like horrible mix-ups over and over again until the enemy team is dead. And there's basically no defensive mechanics to protect you here. But alas. Do that. And then you ambiguous left-right your opponent. And then it's the exact same combo again. You have to watch this cutscene. You know, and then you would just keep doing the same shit over and over again. Unseeable incoming mix-up into combo that builds an outrageous amount of super. Snap your opponent in and repeat. Like, there are lots of games against point Hisoka teams where you just don't get to play. You will lose the opening hit. He will snap you repeatedly, and there is nothing you can do about it. You just put down the controller and pick up the popcorn. So the reason that I put him down in the 4th or 5th spot is because he has to snap rather than TODing you. And the best characters in this game TOD you off every single hit. Now, Hisoka can do TODs, but not quite as efficiently as the characters above him. So do we have anyone else in completely broken tier? Is that the end of completely broken? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I think he's the worst character in completely broken, but he is completely broken. It's Leorio. Now, I mentioned how Hisoka is the Magneto function of the game. Point character with extremely good movement, but relatively low damage. But Leorio is the Doctor Doom function of the game. He is the best support character in the game. His assists are incredible. His DHCs are incredible. And you can slot him basically in the middle of any team, and he's amazing. So before I start with Leorio's actual kit, I'm going to mention his assists first, because like I said, he's more of a support character than anything else. And this is probably his best support assist. His down assist, he comes in and punches the floor 3 times, and it produces 3 projectiles. These projectiles will home to your opponent from anywhere on the screen. And if any of them hit, you get a free combo. He probably has the best neutral assists in the game. Yeah, it's reverse hidden missiles. Hidden missiles, but it comes from below rather than above. But in terms of Leorio's actual kit, he has basically every single one of his special moves spawns a projectile underneath you. This is an anti-air, by the way. And these are incredibly obnoxious, and they can combo into themselves. Like, you can literally do a full screen combo by just doing this a few times. If you want to win at like low levels in this game, literally just pick Leorio and just spam his jump arts. This thing. Like, this is the ultimate like scrub killer character. But as the game has advanced a little bit, the reason that I feel like he might have fallen off slightly is that I feel like Leorio loses to armor. Any of the characters above him that are armored, I feel like Leorio just loses the 1v1. But he's still obscene. And also this move, the dive. Now, this is a dive kick, similar to Hisoka's, and you can convert this into combos very easily. This is the foot dive. I told you he was the Doctor Doom function. Now, this is already a really good move, but one of the really stupid things about this move is at any point during the knee, you can cancel it into his jump arts, even on whiff, which leads to some incredibly ambiguous left-rights if you just jump above your opponent and then just do this. Like that. Like, just get above your opponent, do the dive, and then just as you're about to pass over your opponent's head, transition into jump arts, and this can be very difficult to block. He has very easy combos as well. I think Leorio is probably the best beginner character. Very easy to pick up and play. Alright, so those are the completely broken characters. Now we're moving down to the pretty damn broken characters. Let's start with another character that I play, and that is Meruem, who I think is maybe the coolest character in this game. So the thing with Meruem is he has probably the best grounded movement in the game. His air movement's not great, but his ground dash is absolutely the best ground movement in the game. Like, if you can plink dash with this character, he can cover the ground from full screen, like, basically instantaneously, which is a good start. But the really special thing about Meruem is that he has a unique way of chaining his normals. So, unlike every other character in this game, Meruem cannot do light, medium, heavy, right? You try and do light, medium, heavy, you get light, medium, and then nothing happens. He cannot chain light, medium, heavy. The restriction Meruem has is that Meruem can only ever chain 2 normals in a row. It doesn't matter what 2 normals you do. You can do like light to heavy, or you can do medium to light, heavy to light. You only get 2 normals, and that would be a really crippling downside, but he has some incredible stuff to make up for it. So for one, his normals are probably the best in the game. This is his 5L. This goes half screen. This can punish things that almost no other character in the game can punish. As an example, so at this range, Pretty much no character can punish Uvogin's dive if he spaces it like this. Except Meruem can, because he has privileged normals. Yeah. This can also punish Hisoka's dive on block. So as well as having the longest normals in the game, his lights go like half screen, he also has this normal. This is 2M. This is probably the best 2M in the entire game. It's a low that goes 2/3 of the stage. And as well as this being a basically unreactable 2/3 screen low, you can also cancel it into itself. So you can go low, low, and you can also go low overhead from this distance. He can basically put you in a mix-up from anywhere on the screen and then convert both of these into a full combo. And the fun thing here, and where this gets really silly, is that, and this is what I abuse when I play Meruem, Meruem has a stance. He also has a thing where you can instant cancel out of the stance by pressing it twice, like this. And this is an important part of his game plan, because if you do a string like this, low into high, and your opponent has good defense and they block this, you just stance cancel it. And this is, I think, either 0 or very slightly minus. But the reason this is so unbelievably overpowered is because if you do this stance cancel, it puts Meruem straight back into his optimal range. So I can go low, high, low, high, low, high, just keep like oppressing with like stance cancels like this. And it's extremely difficult for my opponents to take their turn, because their normals do not reach at this range, whereas Meruem's do. So even though technically the stance cancel here is negative, if Meruem just mashes here, he will win 99% of the time. And like I said, if you manage to open up your opponent, it's a full combo, which is nice. Pretty damn good character. Oh, I didn't even mention this. Yeah, teleport punch. Back arts, this thing teleports to your opponent anywhere on screen, and if you have quick gear, this gives you plus frames from anywhere. I forgot about that as well. The other funny thing about this is that if you quick gear cancel this before it makes contact like this, it's a teleport. You can literally do a full screen throw mix up with this character. It's very stupid. And the other thing is, for some reason they decide to make this move an assist, which means that you can call this from full screen and then tag cancel it for the same exact effect. So like, I think this is the best assist in the game, in my opinion. People are kind of sleeping on Meruem right now, but I think Meruem's back assist might actually be the single best assist in the whole game. Alright. Who's the next member of Pretty Darn Broken? I think it's going to be, the next one is going to be Netero. So I'm trying to think where the best place to start with Netero, because he's got a very complicated kit, and it's not like I can just point at one move and say it's broken. Except for this move. This is the one move that I can point to and just say that lol, this thing's stupid, because this flying kick, this move is invincible to projectiles, so you can't zone this character. And the other thing is, at any point during this move, he can transition into his dive, which is his down heavy. So like, he can basically just mix you with a left-right from anywhere, and if you try and like air-to-air him, you'll probably die. Also, he gets a free OTG off this, for reasons. Good air moves in this game are really broken. You'll notice that a lot of the moves that I pointed to so far have been things like Hisoka's dive, Netero's dive, Uvogin's dive. Air moves in this game are very strong. There's not a whole lot of reliable anti-airs in this game. What else is about this character? This super, his level 1, is maybe the best level 1 in the game when it comes to tagging in other characters, because it lasts so long that you can use this time to just like either mix your opponent if they're not already hit, or extend the combo if they are, because you can just tag and then do whatever. It's very good for that kind of stuff. What else? Netero also has a very unique move. So if you hold the arts button with Netero for, I believe, 10 seconds. So 10 seconds with no access to any special moves. He has a special chop, which looks like this. And this thing, you'd think it was a gimmick move, because being locked out of using any special moves for 10 seconds would be a big problem. But they've actually designed his kit quite well, where you can actually intentionally integrate this into combos and stuff. Oh my god, this character's so finicky when it comes to like hit stun scaling. There we go. As an example, so he does have combo routes where you can intentionally avoid using any arts moves. And you can also integrate this in some really cool ways, because during this long-ass level 3 animation, the game is actually still checking to see if you're charging the slap, the chop. So, by taking advantage of this long-ass animation, you get a guaranteed full charge. It's kind of like turnaround punch from Balrog. And you can use it to extend the combo because it OTGs. Like that. Is there anything else I want to mention about this character before I move on? He has one of the funniest cross-ups in the game. Like, good luck reacting to this. You can also hit same side. Also, the main reason to play this character is he has the best sound effects in the game. Like this move, for example. Anyway, let's move on. Next member of Pretty Damn Broken. I think Razor, probably? So Razor is a kind of weird character. He has lots of summons in this game. But what I think is the most defining thing about Razor in this game is his jump A, which is this. Where he summons his chubby friend to attack for you. Now, this move is... it's basically the Great Divider. If your character has a good 2N, this normal, then dealing with this thing isn't too bad. But if your character doesn't have a good 2N, this is probably the most obnoxious move in the entire game. If you just jump above your opponent and then do this, you will win neutral. Because this thing comes out unbelievably fast. It's basically summoning a dive kick as a projectile. It's completely disjoint. And the other thing is, even if you hit Razor, the summon does not go away. So for example here, I'm gonna try and punch Razor after blocking the falling fat guy. But unfortunately, I get counter hit. And even if I try and armor through it, I still get counter hit. So even if you hit Razor behind the assist, it still has a hitbox. So yeah, if you want to get started with Razor, spam that move. How'd you do that thing where you loop like jump N without doing the follow-up? Oh, it's this. Oh my god, I forgot about this. Yeah, his jump N is like a instant air move. This is an overhead. And it has a follow-up, right? It's supposed to go into this like slap follow-up afterwards, the pass. But you can cancel the recovery as he's falling. Just by pressing jump arts, it like kills the recovery. And you can literally just do this. This is like, every single part of this is an overhead and a frame trap. Like you can't jab interrupt this. The only way to get out of that is with Nen stance pushback. It also naturally combos. Like you can literally just loop this as like a combo starter. And obviously at any time you can also go like overhead into like low as well. So every time you block his jump N, you're in a high-low mix-up. Oh yeah, this is the last thing I will mention about this character. So I mentioned that he has this move where he summons the little guy who runs and grabs you. Go my child, hold down the neutral. This is a very useful move because you can combo into this thing, first of all. And Anyway, I can't remember any Razor combos. I'm not a Razor player, but the point is that you can combo into this move. And if you get grabbed by the little homie, even if you're in the air, you will get ground reset. So what you can do with this character is you can do a combo, end with this, and then just as you come out of hit stun, you can high-low your opponent using the stuff that I mentioned a second ago. So you can set up like the most evil resets in the game here. If any of you guys played Dragon Ball FighterZ, this is very similar to how Fat Toss used to work before they nerfed it, when it was a grounded forced reset. You can also set up unblockables with this if you have like an unblockable super. It's very silly. I think Killua. It's got to be Killua next. So I feel like Killua's thing is basically, it's not that he's bad or even not broken. It's basically just that I feel like he's just Hisoka but worse. And I feel like that's also true of a couple characters in this game. So Killua is also supposed to be about having like good mobility as well. He's another like high speed mobility character. This move is probably his most noteworthy one, his jump A. Very fast, summons a lightning pillar and can hit from like any angle. His combos are also surprisingly difficult because you have to a lot of the time abuse this thing. I won't go into too much detail, but there's a bug or possibly intentional tech in this game where you can cancel a special into itself if you do like a buffered jump cancel, like this. You're not supposed to be able to cancel 6A into 6A, but you can if you use a buffered jump cancel. Yeah, he's got a fuzzy, he's got an instant overhead with jump L, which is relatively rare in this game. He's got good mix-up potential. He's also got the install. And in my opinion, his install is the least broken. And that's surprising. Like, I think that says a lot about this game. When you look at something like this, and I say this is the least broken install in the game. Certified Nen Impact moment. It does good damage. And it also gives him outrageous movement for a few seconds. So yeah, if you combine this with like an assist, for example, you can basically mix your opponent from like anywhere on the screen if you have a good assist. One thing I forgot to mention is this game's health values. I forgot to mention at the start, Uvogin has the most health of any character in the game. And I think Killua is tied for the lowest health in the game. So he dies a bit quicker than everyone else. And in this game, that actually matters because there are a lot of characters who have like damaging breakpoints where like their combo will do like 980 to 990 damage. So like that 25 less than 1,000 health is actually really noticeable for a lot of combos. Yeah, his level 1 does track to full screen. Mildly useful. I guess you could use it with an assist to get in. He's pretty good. He's got good maneuverability. He's got some good mix-ups. Pretty damn broken. I think Machi is up next. I think we're going Machi next. Alright, so I mentioned a second ago about how Killua is kind of just Hisoka but slightly worse. Machi is definitely like the epitome of that. Machi is very similar to Hisoka. Lots of air movement. Big dive moves. Like, she's supposed to be all about zipping around the screen. She also has some of the weirdest combo routes in the game. Like, literally just mash the arts button in any direction and you just do a combo. It's very weird. But the difference between Machi and Hisoka is that she feels a bit more gimmicky. She doesn't have quite so good normals as Hisoka, like, compared to something like Hisoka's 5H. These are a lot more underwhelming. I don't think her mix is quite as good either off, like, snaps. She also doesn't build that much meter. One of the big selling points of Hisoka is that his combos build obscene amounts of super. So you can keep the engine going of like snap into snap into snap. Machi's meter build is not as good and it's really noticeable. You run out of snaps after a while, but you never do with Hisoka. She has, where is it, this thing? This is probably her only like noteworthy difference with Hisoka. She can do sort of area denial. This is useful sometimes if you have your opponent like boxed in the corner. You can put this thing on the screen and it creates like a trap that they can't really approach on. But it's not that scary, and also this thing doesn't break armor, which is a really important thing in this game. So like, if you're a Machi player and you use this move and Morel presses 5H with his brain turned off, you will die. But she's still good. She hits reasonably hard, her combos are pretty good. She's kind of underexplored, but I don't think she's got what it takes to be top tier. Speaking of underexplored, the final member of pretty damn broken tier, and the character, I'm going to be honest, the character that I probably know the least about of any character in this game is Feitan. There are not many people playing this character, and I still don't really understand his full potential. He's the only question mark for me, really. Yeah, I can do some basic Feitan stuff. Really basic Feitan stuff. He has some good normals. I guess I'll start with the stuff that I know is decent. His jump normals are really nice, particularly his jump N. If you're a Zero player in Marvel 3, you may be getting flashbacks to the pizza cutter. This thing is extremely disjoint, and it also hits on both sides, and it hits multiple times. So if you want to get started with this character, just do air dash into jump N. Like Virgil. I think people assumed he would be like Virgil. He's got a few Virgil-ish things, but he doesn't play much like Virgil, actually. Jump heavy is also good. It's very similar. He's got like 2 similar normals. Jump heavy is also a spinning air normal with a good hitbox, but it's not quite as good as jump Nen. He's also got some mix-up tools, like I showed a second ago. If you go into this umbrella stance, he can teleport behind you for a left-right. He can come down above you and ground bounce, or he can like fake out and just teleport. He's also got a good super for DHCs. So his level 1 super, he slashes you a bunch of times. Pretty basic stuff. But he will do the whole animation even if you DHC like instantly. Like this. And you can use this extra time with your new character to continue the combo. So like... something like that, as a basic example. Alright. So we're moving now down to the mortals. Just regular broken. And we're going to start with Gon. So Gon has stubby normals. That is the first thing to say. It's very noticeable if you've played this game a lot. Like in a game where Morel is pressing 5H and it's hitting from full screen with armor, stuff like this isn't really cutting it. He's got a couple of normals as range. His 2M is good, this thing. But this feels very bad compared to most characters in this game. But he's not really meant to be using this. He's meant to sort of fish for hits with some other stuff. So he's got the fishing rod, which this is ironically probably his best normal. This is actually a normal. This will hit from anywhere on the screen and pull you in, and it even combos into itself. Probably his best normal. And the thing with Gon is that he's basically built entirely around this special move. So if you press arts with Gon, he goes into the stance, and then you can do the 3 Jajangken follow-ups. And you can also dash cancel out of this stance. This stance is also armored. So Gon can kind of bait you to attack him and then like go for a follow-up or backdash. You can also do these in the air, which is really good. You can convert off them from full screen with the fishing rod. Like that. So he makes up for his stubby normals quite a bit with his special moves. But you just have to work really hard with this character. This might be the most... It's strange. Usually the main character of the game is designed to be very beginner-friendly, but I actually think Gon is probably the least beginner-friendly character in the game. His combos are difficult, and as has been mentioned in chat, he has a just frame system where if you charge these specials for just the right amount of time, they turn red. There we go. slightly different sound cue and slightly different color. And if you land these, they do more damage and it's really noticeable. Like, the difference between landing these, the regular versions, and landing the just frame versions can end up being like 20% of the overall combo damage. This is the loop, yeah. He's also very annoying in terms of audio. Like, a lot of his combos are just doing Jijanken specials over and over again. So if you want to explode your speakers, just play Gon. He's the noisiest character in the game. So I mentioned earlier how Killua can take advantage of the fact that you can jump cancel a special to cancel it into itself. Which, like I said, I'm not sure if this is a glitch or even intended behavior. But Gon can also abuse this. He can infinitely jump cancel the scissors follow-up into itself. But it's really hard to do relative to the rest of the execution in this game. Something like that, just to give you an idea. So he has very difficult combos, but the reason that I think Gon is immortal, the reason that I have him in my lowest tier of just being broken, is because with all of these things being said, all these just frames that increase his damage and all of these difficult jump cancels in his combos, you would think that that would like pay off. But actually, even if you have this character fully optimized, he doesn't hit that hard. You know, he'll do like less damage than the top tier characters for a combo that is 1,000 times harder. So you're just, I think the thing with Gon is just you have to work really hard for less results than the others. But he's still really good. Like I say, every character in this game is broken. He's just regular broken. We've got 3 characters left. I think Genthru goes next on my list. I thought originally Genthru was the worst character in the game, but I'm starting to feel like he's not quite as bad as a couple of others that we'll mention in a second. So Genthru is very strange. So Genthru is a weird character. He has the ability to summon his buddies, even though this is an assist game to begin with. Like, they dedicated a huge part of his kit to letting him call assists in a game where you can call assists. Like, this should probably tell you that he's not top tier material, that you have to use special moves with him to have the same effect as something every character in the game can do. You can do it as well as assists. Like, you can call an assist and then call one of his personal assists. But the thing about Genthru is that his normals are not great. He has the Gon issue where his normals are quite slow. They don't have amazing range. He has difficulty converting sometimes. His combos are a little bit finicky, but he's really weird. Like, mid-screen, his combos are not very good. He struggles to combo mid-screen a lot of the time, but he gets very weird because once you've got your opponent to the corner with Genthru, he goes from having some of the worst combos in the game to having some of the best combos in the entire game. Because he can do a loop with 5N and calling his buddies. Look at this shit. There's just characters endlessly running across the screen. Still going. There you go. TOD with Genthru. It just makes me laugh just seeing this endless wave of characters just running in and just disappearing off screen. This is not a 3v3 game, it's a 5v3. So yeah. Genthru has some very cool combos. But unfortunately, Genthru also is cursed. And he has the curse of a gimmick level 3. Every other character in this game, their level 3s are mostly just something you stick on the end of a combo to do like 50% damage, right? That's generally the trend in this game, but they thought they would be clever with Genthru. They gave this character a unique level 3 with a gimmick. So if you use Genthru's level 3, so you do the level 3 with Genthru, he puts the bomb on you, and that's it. And that super does 95 damage, which is a lot less than the 50% that the other level 3s in the game do. And the gimmick with this super is that if you land level 3 a second time, after landing it the first time, the animation changes. So let me just give myself 3 more bars of super. So now if I land a level 3 a second time, the animation is different, and he instant kills you from any amount of health. So the thing with Genthru is that you have to spend 6 bars of super to TOD a character. Bearing in mind, at the start of this video, I showed you that Bisky can TOD you from round start throw, starting with 0 meter. So it's just like this completely useless gimmick. The only upside of his level 3 is that you can combo after it. So you can do like level 3. And then you can keep attacking afterwards. And I think if you optimize this character, it is actually possible to do both versions of the level 3 in one combo. So you can start with 5 bars, use the level 3, putting you down to 2 bars. Then in the follow-up combo, you can build back 1 bar, and then finish with a second level 3, which instant kills. But it's just such a complete waste of resources for something every other character in this game can do without even having to think about it. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with this level 3. 6 bar TOD, meanwhile Bisky. Exactly. It's very weird. You would think, like, it would make more sense if it was like level 3 to activate the bomb and then level 1 to detonate it. Like, that might make more sense. I could see a case for that working as a mechanic, but the fact that it's level 3 into level 3, and also, just a reminder, you have a maximum of 5 bars of super in this game, only if 2 of your teammates are dead, right? You start out with 3 maximum bars of super, it goes up to 4, and then 5 as your teammates die. So the only situation where you're going to have 5 bars of super is when Genthru is all alone and both your teammates are dead. It's such a weird decision. I don't know what they were cooking with this. So yeah, Genthru has the worst level 3 in the game, and it's not even close. But he does have cool combos. Okay. We have 2 characters left because Pito is not out yet. So I'm not going to include Pito. The second worst / regular broken character is Kurapika. Disappointingly. I like Kurapika. I'm kind of a Kurapika fan as a character. Now, you would think, if you knew anything about Hunter x Hunter, that Kurapika would be some kind of long-range zoning character with the chains, right? Kurapika is all about chains. We've got chains. That looks pretty good, right? Nearly full screen. Well, the thing about Kurapika is that Kurapika has about 3 moves that use the chain, and none of them are very good. So this thing is unbelievably slow. I'm just going to show you as an example. I'm going to land the chain, and I'm going to hold up forward. Look how much recovery this has. Like, you are just stuck to the floor, unable to block for a million years after this thing. So you can't really zone with this. The other aspect of the chain is this normal. Now, this would be an amazing normal under any other circumstances. Huge normal that goes nearly full screen and hits twice and sucks the enemy towards you. But unfortunately, I think they were scared of this thing being too strong. This is the jump N, because you cannot ever combo after this thing with Kurapika solo. You can combo after it with assists, but it's incredibly finicky. This is not like Morel, where you just spam 5H plus assist. This thing is really awkward to use, and it also scales the shit out of your combo. So despite being what you would expect to be like a long-range semi-zoning character, in reality, the main game plan here is just like, get in and then try and kill in as efficiently as possible. Does he do a lot of damage at least? Kurapika's damage is decent. I would say it's above average. I think that's the main thing that Kurapika has in the positives, is damage output is relatively high. What about if they have a troop member on the other team? Oh man. I mentioned this as a positive. In my first Nen Impact video, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Kurapika has Emperor Time permanently active if your opponent is a member of the Phantom Troop. That's so sick. In practice, this is horrible. So like I said, there is a spider on the opponent team, and you'll notice if you look at the top left, Emperor Time is active, which is a damage boost, but it comes at the cost of my health is constantly draining into gray health permanently. And there is no way to turn this off, because it's just always active if your opponent is a spider. This would be useful if it worked with the system mechanics properly, because the way this game is supposed to work is that if you lose health, you should gain access to quick gear, right? That's how this game's mechanics work. As you lose health, you gain quick gear, but for some reason, I guess this was an intentional balancing choice. Kurapika losing health from Emperor Time is the only thing in the entire game that will not give you any quick gear. So you cannot take advantage of this effect to farm quick gear cancels. It's a bit like, for the 3 people who played DNF Duel, Berserker used to be able to damage himself, and then he could convert that damage back into cancels, right? The conversion system. But Kurapika loses health, but has absolutely no way of converting that lost health back into a useful resource. You're just losing health. You do not get any extra quick gear for doing this. So it's not good. The damage boost you get from having Emperor Time active is definitely not worth constantly losing health. I should point out, this Emperor Time thing is not about if you're fighting 1v1 against a spider. It's if there's a spider anywhere on the opponent's team. So if I swap this around and I put like Netero in front and Chrollo in the back, you will notice that even though I'm currently not fighting Chrollo, Emperor Time is still active and is still draining my health. So, like I said, this is especially bad because Anchor Chrollo is everywhere right now. Almost every team is putting Chrollo on Anchor, which means that if you play Kurapika at all, you are constantly losing health and there is nothing you can do about it. You can use the Holy Chain, which is back A, which heals off lost gray health, but like, why are you jumping through all these hoops? Constantly having to like back up and heal. So yes, you can technically offset the lost health, but it's, in practice, a complete waste of time. By the time you use this special, you're already dead. And the worst character in the game, and this is a character that I previously played and have now completely given up on, Kite. Kite is supposed to be a zoner, and I say supposed to be. He is the only character in the entire game who has what I would describe as like actual zoning moves. He's got lots of projectiles spread across his kit. Some of them are multi-hit. You can do them in the air. You can change the angle. Unfortunately, this game is not friendly to zoning at all. And as an example, so bearing in mind that if you land Kite's full screen specials, this does 119 damage. So if I wanted to kill Morel, I would have to land this cleanly 10 plus times. Right? Which is already a big ask. But then you consider the fact that almost all of the best characters in this game are armored monsters, and stuff like this starts happening. Do you see what I mean? Every single time you go for one of his zoning moves, and Morel presses the funny stand heavy that goes full screen, the far better zoning move, it armors through it, and this leads to a TOD if you are a Morel player. Let me just show you this from the other side so that you can see that more easily. And he's dead. So every single time you use one of Kite's various projectiles, you are gambling death in exchange for a tiny bit of damage that doesn't really convert to anything. Like Kite, the real issue with Kite is not that he can't zone, it's that his zoning doesn't lead to anything. With that being said, Kite does have one really good thing going for him. I mentioned that every character is broken and Kite is not an exception. The reason Kite is broken, despite everything I've just said, is the roll. So Kite has a special command roll, which is 6H. And Kite can abuse this roll, combined with his 5N, which wall bounces, to do outrageously good combos. He has a... People think this is an infinite. It's not an infinite. I just want to say that up front. This is the roll loop. It does break eventually, as you see there, but this is one of the best combo tools in the entire game. So he's a very, very high damage output character, which is strange. You wouldn't expect it from the Zoner. He's maybe the highest damage non-top tier character. But it's just not good enough. Having high damage is just not good enough. The other thing about Kite that is really good is this super. So I mentioned earlier that there are a couple supers in this game which guard crush you. Gon has one, Uvogin has one, but with those characters, they have to punch you from point blank to guard crush you. Kite is the only character in the entire game with a guard crush super that actually hits from distance. Even at full screen, this is a guard crush. This speaks to how obscene the power level is in this game, that being able to unblockable your opponent from full screen is still the thing that the worst character in the game can do. This is how broken this game is. That is every character, I think. Anyway, that's the current state of Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact. I know this was technically a tier list, but actually the real purpose of this video was just kind of give everyone a quick rundown of all the characters. I hope it was useful for the 3 people still playing this game, and I will see you guys all in the next video.